As they say out here, if life they show you pepper, my guy, make pepper soup.
Hey guys, I hope you're all doing well and that you had a great week. Well, as you can see, I have a different backdrop and that's because I've moved. It was quite a stressful time, but here we are. So welcome, grab yourselves a drink and make yourselves comfortable. If you're passing by and you'd like to become a house guest, don't forget to hit subscribe and activate all of your notifications. I'm Chez, this is Chez M0i. Welcome to my place. The British Monarchy is an institution that I had no deep interest in until 2017, when Prince Harry's relationship with a certain lady called Meghan Markle was made public. Before Princess Diana came to prominence as Charles's fiancée and then his wife, I don't remember the royal family being as concerned about their public image. There was always an air of mystery and aloofness which, from my perspective, made them totally unrelatable. And when Diana passed away, Queen Elizabeth was accused of being cold and heartless. The fact that the Queen finally relented by bowing to public pressure and coming down to London a few days later shows just how much the institution values popularity as currency. This is why you will see Charles, even though he has absolutely zero affection for Africa or the African people, attempt pidgin English to get the Nigerians to like him.
It is particularly special to be here just a few days before my 70th birthday in, if I reach it, in the land of the Owamba. I must say, I find it hard to believe that nearly 30 years have passed since I first came to this city. And having finally made it back here, ladies and gentlemen, all I can say is that God don't butter my bread. As they say out here, if life they show you pepper, my guy, make pepper soup.
I now realise that I was not aware of Charles's tour of Nigeria back in 2018 because no fuss was made about his safety, no fuss was made about him travelling to such a dangerous country. Fast forward to 2024, when Harry and Meghan travelled to Nigeria, the media couldn't wait to tell you how unsafe Nigeria was. And even though it was very evident that their tour was successful, the media would have you believe that it was anything but. Remember, Harry and Meghan didn't have to resort to any cringeworthy displays. They already had a natural affinity with the Nigerian people. Earlier this week, Kate visited the famous Royal Marsden Hospital in London to thank the staff for looking after her during her treatment last year, and to let us all know that she's in remission.
It is the word every cancer patient hopes to hear, remission. Today, Kate, the Princess of Wales, used it for the first time about her own illness and said how relieved she was. For understandable reasons, she kept details of her cancer and the treatment for it private. But today she revealed where the treatment took place by returning to the Royal Marsden in West London, arguably the leading cancer hospital in the country.
Walking through the front entrance of the Royal Marsden Hospital today was a point not lost on Kate. All her previous visits, she said, as she arrived today, had to be carried out in secret and around the back. Today, at least, the Princess of Wales was able to enter the specialist cancer hospital not as a patient, but as a guest.
I'm sorry to bring everybody.
And inevitably, Kate brought with her a new understanding of what these patients are going through.
Get through, I have a small taste of what you've gone through. The resilience to keep coming back and being as positive as you are. You've got to. It does make you appreciate the small things in life.
For some patients, there was a chat about the side effects of their treatment and a hug.
Yeah, you're okay. Stay strong, okay?
For others, a gentle tap of understanding and a knowledgeable conversation about the treatment.
Yeah, exactly. Just when you start to feel a bit better off back of the two treatments, you're then like, I mean, today I feel great. Yeah.
Two Catherines sharing each other's cancer journey.
I've just had a port put in and she had the same, so it was just nice to hear how she felt about it. She said she was quite attached to it.
This afternoon, Kate posted a message on social media for the Royal Marsden staff. She said her heartfelt thanks goes to all those who have quietly walked alongside William and me. She then spoke about remission for the first time. It is a relief to now be in remission, she said, and I remain focused on recovery.
As a specialist cancer centre, it's incredibly important that we take some of the fear out of a cancer diagnosis. And that openness and transparency is really important because cancer touches so many people and their families.
Kate said this hospital gave her exceptional care and compassion, and today she's joined Prince William as its royal patron. It was a role her mother-in-law, Princess Diana, held at the same hospital for 8 years. Today's visit by the Princess meant a lot to the staff who work with cancer patients day in, day out. But a visit Kate herself is unlikely to forget. Chris Ship, News at 10.
While I 100% agree that she does not need to share any details regarding the type of cancer she has, and I'm happy that the news she shared is really great, why were arrivals to and departures from the hospital shrouded in such secrecy? Something just isn't adding up.
Morning friends, happy Wednesday, and if you thought the pantomime season was over in the UK, it did actually end last Saturday, you're blooming mistaken, because when this dropped yesterday, I could not believe it. Let me try and be kind and give you my point of view. I know I'm a bit late to the story, but I think I have inside information which you might not have been able to get from elsewhere. So I think firstly, the messages from Kensington Palace and Kate have been really confusing. Cancer, pre-cancerous cells, no longer being treated for cancer, now in remission. That journey, that story, just doesn't match with medical action in the UK at all. So I think the messaging, at worst, has been really, really poor. I think the other thing is, some of the things that Kate said, medical professionals in the UK were cringing when she talked about getting access to the sun, because even the sun in winter is absolutely not a recommended remedy for cancer survivors. In fact, the advice to all cancer patients is stay away from sunlight. Little bit confusing, bit worried about why she was giving that message. Thirdly, the timing. We all know that Meghan's show was due to air on Netflix tomorrow, which actually it's today. Is the timing of this visit coincidental? Was it designed to have a little bit of a poke at Harry and Meghan? The devil in me says yes, but I'm trying to be kind. Fourth thing, are you really telling me, and by the way, I have family that work at this hospital, the Royal Marsden. Are you really telling me that Kate and security was able to sneak in and out of that building without anybody knowing? And I'll tell you guys, I have met my family after work at that building and near that building a lot of times. You can't sneak into that building. Like, there is no World War II tunnels to get into that building unannounced. Believe me, I've been in it a lot of times. And the last thing, which is probably the most annoying thing for me, but again, trying to be kind, all this media coverage about Kate thanking people, that kind of didn't happen. I mean, she definitely was there. This is Kate. This is not CGI. This is not some clever puppet or robot. Puppet's maybe the wrong word. This is not some clever robot. But thanking the individuals and the teams who allegedly cared for her just didn't happen. As ever, comments are open. Have a brilliant day. Let me know what you think.
Yet, when Prince Archie was born, Meghan was not even allowed to enjoy her new experience of motherhood in peace. Because the media argued that as UK taxpayers, we were entitled to know every single detail regarding Archie's birth. Another clear example of blatant double standards, because when it comes to Kate's medical privacy, we're not allowed to know what's going on. But when Meghan was here, medical privacy was non-existent. People often shy away from uncomfortable conversations, and the media will tell you that their dislike of Meghan has absolutely nothing to do with race. But why do you think that these celebrities don't really make it public knowledge that they have an African American parent? Perhaps because, whether they want to admit it or not, life may just become that little bit more difficult for them. One could put forward the very valid argument that Meghan's life only became especially difficult because, as a woman of colour, she was elevated to the highest level of the socio-economic strata, and certain people who feel they have a voice are simply not happy about that. The UK public, especially those who consider themselves purebred English, is there such a thing? Honestly believe that the British monarchy is an untainted entity, instituted and anointed by the Almighty. So when those who despise Meghan have the audacity to treat her like a contaminant.
There was this moment where our private secretary, she worked for the Queen for almost, I think, 20 years. And what she said to me was, it's like this fish is like swimming perfectly powerful, it's on the right current. One day this little organism comes in. She's independent, she's quite feisty. She's a controlling woman. Oh! This foreign organism. And the entire thing goes, what is that? What is it doing here? It doesn't look like us, it doesn't move like us, we don't like it, get it off of us.
There's some rather polarised opinions.
I say it's doomed. People are so cynical before the people are even married. Give them a couple of chances, for goodness sake. They're obviously in love.
I agree.
And she just explained that, they'll soon see that it's stronger, faster, even better with this organism as part of it. It will be hard at the beginning for them to adjust to this new thing, but then it'll be amazing.
Times are changing. She's the first ever global princess. Really, I think what she and Harry are going to be capable of is going to be quite impressive.
This couple is the one that is going to change the face of the royal family for me.
And I was really hopeful that that was true.
When I'm told we live in a more tolerant society, my inclination is to take that statement with a pinch of salt.
These people always attacking Meghan Markle. Like she's not a pick-me, she's from Los Angeles City. That's her hometown. So what are you all talking about? All these other people are transplants, and y'all have no smoke for them. This girl grew up literally up the street, up the hill from where Nipsey Hussle grew up at. All these other celebrities that's out there that's probably not even from LA that's doing something, they're not under any type of criticism. And you know what? Meghan Markle is always criticized. Her number one critic is white women. And the reason why is because she exposes their insecurities. Meghan Markle is the kryptonite to white women. Because they're like, damn, how did this prince pick you? Out of all these million of white girls that he could have picked, he picked you. And that's the reason why they're always criticizing her. Because they're like, yeah, loyalty didn't pick white. Meghan Markle be having these white women feel inferior. That's all this is about.
But you'd be very naive to think that all Caucasian women dislike Meghan, because that simply is not true.
Did you guys hear that she's not even filming in her own house? Have you heard that this is one of the complaints people are having about Meghan's new Netflix show? They're annoyed that it's supposed to be more like Maybe the Real Her or something, which I don't know that's necessarily the point of it, but they keep saying, well, this wasn't even shot in her real house. This was shot in a house up the street. Yeah, that's for safety. You get that, right? You understand, as one of the most famous people in the world, not wanting to let the general public know the basic layout of your home. Right? Even as us normies that make content, one of the big rules is don't let people know or give an idea of where your exact address is and kind of the layout of your home. That's for normies. That's for you and I. That's dangerous. Now imagine your own mother was tragically and famously stalked and murdered, not to mention constantly being followed by paparazzi while you were living in the UK, and then being followed. We remember from their first Netflix documentary, right? How they were followed and stalked in their own home. Reports of people literally outside their house. Yeah, let's have just like a tiny ounce of empathy for a second. And if it were you, would you then want to shoot the inside of your home for everyone to see? All of the entrances, all of the exits, all the doors. You wouldn't want that information public. I'm wrong. Maybe you would. Maybe you like to live on the wild side. I have a sinking feeling that Harry wants his wife and his children as safe as they possibly can be. So maybe cut her some goddamn slack. Also, I hate to break it to you, but some of your favorite influencers on TikTok use fake houses. So chill out. I'm sorry, you're just gonna have to find another reason to not like her.
Just as you shouldn't be naive enough to think that all black women embrace Meghan, because that isn't true either. Modern society is not as tolerant as we're led to believe. Social media has given millions of unhinged people the courage to express how truly vile they are.
Hello, I'm a middle-aged man with an embarrassing problem. I've formed a strong negative opinion about a woman whose life doesn't even affect me. And I like to express that rage in the public domain. Luckily, there's now a number I can call.
Hello, you've called the Meghan Markle helpline.
If you've got a ridiculous opinion about Meghan Markle, our helpline workers are bravely standing by, ready to endure your take so others don't have to.
Who did this woman think she is that she can come along and damage the reputation of the royal family? I mean, that's Prince Andrew's job.
But why did he marry a commoner? It's against tradition. He should have married one of his own family.
I mean, she's so fake. Why can't she just be down to earth like his family that lives in the giant castle and dresses every day like they're in some sort of Jane Austen Comic-Con?
Why are they going off on their own instead of leeching off the taxpayer? You know, like the good royals.
If you got riled up by the Oprah Winfrey interview you watched of your own free will, our operators are ready to put up with you.
I mean, what a performance. I'll tell you what, she can make a decent career as an actor.
Sir, can I get you to pull up IMDb?
Oh my God, she's been gainfully employed. Then she definitely shouldn't be a royal.
That was the worst Oprah interview I've ever been in the audience for. I looked under my seat several times and there was no car under here.
Rest assured, the Meghan Markle helpline covers every possible type of complaint.
Press 1 if your complaint is about race. Press 2 if your complaint is not about race, but deep down is kind of about race.
But my complaint isn't about race.
Oh, what's it about then? Hello?
And because we know this isn't a race issue and you hold all royals to the same bizarre standards, we've also set up the Kate Middleton helpline.
Wrong number. I think you're after...
The Meghan Markle helpline, a made-up helpline for a made-up problem.
Prominent broadcasters feel it is also their right to verbally bash Meghan at every given opportunity. However, it was refreshing to hear the perspective of this particular well-known individual.
Harry and Meghan also came through to help deliver some meals. What was it like to see them step up and really be a part of this thing?
You know, the thing about them, which is so great, is they didn't come here to live off of our community. They came here to be a part of our community. We can see them. You know, my friend was sitting in her car and she said, and they bicycled across the street in front of me while I was sitting at the red light. And I was like, that's what we're talking about.
Right.
They're part of our community. They become a part, a giving, caring, participating part of our community.
Mm-hmm.
They're not here like, would you like to kiss my butt?
Right. Or we're here to not interact with you at all.
Right.
You know what I mean? We're here to get involved, to get to work.
Ever since Harry and Meghan left the UK, people have demanded that they relinquish their titles. If you've been a house guest for long enough, we already know that titles mean nothing to them. However, this is for the benefit of those who may have comprehension issues.
There's another one there. That works, very cool. No one in their right mind would have to deal with this endlessly. The toll was visible. The emotional toll that it was having on both of us, but especially my wife. What are we going to do? We're going to have to change this for our own sake.
Let's really think this through.
How are we going to do this? How are we going to change our relationship with the institution, but in a way that protects us and our mental health and our well-being as well? So at the end of December and the beginning of January, I've been on the phone to my father saying, we've got a plan.
What if we moved to Canada?
We thought it would be good to give ourselves some breathing space, but also we were really passionate about continuing our work throughout the Commonwealth to support the Queen.
Well, and also I think what's important is the pack of the Royal Rota is based there in London. So if we're not there, they can't cover what we're doing. You guys can be on the front pages of all the papers, you can have it exactly the way you want it, and we can just go about doing the work in the name of the Queen.
If you want us to go and do things on behalf of the Queen, we'll go and do it. And we'll pay for it ourselves. We don't want to be dependent on any taxpayer funding. Guess what? You get us, but you get us for free. And this was years in the making. We really wanted to remove the supposed public interest argument that the press had over every element of our lives. Their argument was, if you have even 1% of public funding any part of your life, then we can basically claim public interests. We can invade your privacy on everything because you have public funds supporting you. In 2018, we'd already talked about perhaps moving to New Zealand, and that never transpired. And then beginning of 2019, we discussed the whole concept of us moving to South Africa, supporting charities, organizations in Africa.
The job is a lot of cause-driven work. So I thought, well, this is great. There's an asset in having a woman of color when you have 50 plus Commonwealth countries, the majority of which are people of color.
And the palace signed off on us moving to South Africa. So my father's office knew about it, my brother's office knew about it, and my grandmother's office knew about it. No one else knew. It was very much an internal document. Then it was leaked to the Times newspaper, and then that whole plan was then scrapped because it's now become a public debate. Once plans like that become public debates, 9 times out of 10, it's going to fail. By the time that I was speaking to my father from Canada, the family and their people knew that we were trying to find a different way of working for a minimum of 2 years. Minimum. Okay, Canada. I was speaking to my father, this is the plan. And he says, can you put that in writing? And I said, I'd rather not because of what happened last time. He says, I can't do anything unless you put it in writing. So I put it in writing, sent him emails on the 1st and the 2nd and the 3rd of January. And in one of those, I'd mentioned that, you know, if this wasn't going to work out, then we would be willing to relinquish our Sussex titles if need be. So
that's the plan.
That was the plan.
Regarding the recent LA wildfires, you already heard what Sharon Stone had to say, and there have been plenty of eyewitness accounts stating that Harry and Meghan turned up to help anonymously. No calls to photographers, despite you reading or hearing that it was a photo op for them. No dressing up. You could see that they were dressed very, very casually. No entourage, no chauffeur-driven vehicles, no outriders. Just the two of them seeing what they could do to help. Titles do not stop Harry and Meghan being Harry and Meghan, because even simply as Harry and Meghan, they represent the reality of royal relatability. So guys, this week has been absolutely relentless when it comes to the attacks on Meghan. Just because she decided to push back her release date for her Netflix show to March because of the LA fires, people have lost their heads. And this is why I say I believe there is a serious epidemic of mental illness. And I don't say that lightly, guys. You have to be unhinged if you're going to attack someone for caring about people. I've never seen anything like this before. In all my nearly 55 years on this planet, I've never, ever seen anything like this before. And people, you know, they don't want to have the uncomfortable conversation, because really, what has Meghan done? This is a question I will ask until I can stop asking. What exactly did she do? No one can answer that question. They will make up things and say, oh, you know, she disrespected the Queen. How did she disrespect the Queen? How did she disrespect the Queen when she had such great respect for her?
My first official engagement with Her Majesty was very early on after we got married. We took the royal train together and we had breakfast that morning, and I had a really great time with her.
What do you talk about with the Queen of England?
I treated her as my husband's grandma. And knowing that, of course, there has to be a completely different sense of propriety and whatnot in public when you're sitting and having breakfast, to just be able to talk. I mean, when we got into the car in between engagements, she had a blanket and she put it over my knees and we were sitting there in the car with this blanket, and I thought, I recognize and respect and see that you are the Queen. But in this moment, I'm so grateful that there's a grandmother figure, because that feels like family. And because I was so close with my grandmother and I took care of her in her final years, it was such a good day. We laughed.
Meghan, have the Queen in stitches of laughter. You don't often see the Queen in giggles.
I'll tell you who disrespected the Queen. Her own son Charles. Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, she's disrespected the Queen. Fergie, Sarah Ferguson, Duchess of York, she's disrespected the Queen. And as much as I don't want to go down this road, I've said it before, people of colour are not allowed to reach certain levels in society. They will only allow you to get to a certain level. A successful actress, yeah, that's okay. Successful businesswoman, that's okay. But a princess of the UK, no. And before you start to make noise and say she's not a princess, please check your facts, because she is. She doesn't use that title, but she actually is. And as I said, for all of you who want Harry and Meghan to relinquish their titles. They offered to do that. They offered to do that. It doesn't make them any less who they are. It doesn't change their character. They are the same with or without their titles. And is it because you don't have a title why it makes you so angry that they've retained theirs? People need to get a grip. This is a new year, but people still have old negative mindsets. And to be quite honest, they will never change. And these are the people that we are supposed to avoid at all costs. Harry and Meghan don't give them access. They don't give them room in their lives. And this is why they're able to continue to do what they do. Despite the criticism, so guys, let's see what the next 7 days brings. This backlash is going to continue because they're going to find something wrong. They're going to find something wrong to bash Meghan over the head with. But the Sussexes will continue to rise.
Everybody really likes you when you do everything everyone asks and tells you to do.
Amen.
Nobody likes you when you have boundaries. I had to learn to grow some boundaries. The more that I understood what boundaries really meant, the less people started to like me. And the more I understood how fantastic and healthy that was.
Guys, if your thoughts were provoked in any way, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't yet become a house guest, don't forget to hit subscribe and activate all of your notifications. I want to take this opportunity to thank you guys so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and you should catch me in the next video.